Welcome to Degrees of Separation, a podcast where we journey to learn how we are connected and who we are connected to.
It gives us at least a glimpse of how connected we all are.
From entrepreneurs and small business owners to difference makers and thought leaders throughout our communities. This is Degrees of Separation with Joshua Peacock and Daryl DJ Sales.
What it is, what it do, man. We back off up in this thing one more time, man. It's your host, Elder Joshua Peacock, man. Oh, man, we back again with another one, man. Another good one, man. So, man, shout out to DJ, man. He's not here right now with us. Obviously, if you're watching, man. But, shout out to DJ, man. Look forward to having him back on the podcast and chopping it up and and continuing our discussions. But, we're in the time of year of holidays, you know what I mean? There's a lot of holidays going on, no matter what your background is, what your belief is. There's a holiday that's going to be celebrated by the majority of the world, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. There's so many different holidays that's going on right now. And usually during the time of the holidays, it's a time for family. It's a time to get together with loved ones, people that you hold near and dear to your heart, you know what I mean, and spend time with them and build memories with them. And with that being said, man, it's a very important time and delicate time. And we have to take advantage of the time that we have with one another, while we have that time, and I say all the time to my wife, ain't no sense of us arguing with each other. There's no sense of us not getting along because, this may sound morbid, but it's the truth. We have a finite amount of time with each other on this earth, whether it be parents, whether it be friends, spouse, children, brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever it may be. We have a finite amount of time with one another. With that being said, this past Sunday, I lost my aunt, one of my mom's oldest sisters. My mom is the youngest out of five, and the second oldest. Shout out to my aunt Janice. Love the woman. She looked out for me in a major way when I first got the job that I currently have now. It's been 8+ years. When I first got that job, I was in a place in life where I didn't really have anything. I didn't have, all I had was a vehicle and some clothes. And I was transitioning from an old job to work out of town to get a better job, to have better money, didn't have a place to lay my head. And, reached out to my Aunt Janice and asked if I can come stay, at her house to be closer to my job. And I'd go and crash in in her den. And I lived there for a few months until I got myself, on my feet. And, this is just something small that she's done for me in my life. Something small, but something major for me. Something probably small for her, but major for me. It had a great impact on my life and helped me out. I'd go live there all throughout the weekend. On the weekend, I'd come back home and sleep on my mom's bed for 2 days and for the weekend, and then head back. And I truly appreciate her for it because she didn't have to do it, but she did it, and I appreciate her for it. And I remember as a kid always going to her house and traveling and going to her house and having a good time and looking at my uncles and my aunts have a good time. And, I always enjoyed going out there, and her oldest daughter, Cicely, would watch me and my siblings, to take care of us, pretty much help raise us, but and she passed a few days after Thanksgiving, and I believe she just wanted to see her family one more time, before she went to the other side. And I thank God that He allowed me and my family, to join with her and celebrate Thanksgiving and be thankful for her life and things of that sort. But it got me thinking, which I'm always thinking about it. But like I was saying before, we only have a finite amount of time with our loved ones. So what's the point in disagreeing? What's the point of you know not getting along, fighting, bickering, arguing? You know, being petty, going tit for tat with one another. That's so unnecessary when we know we have a small amount of time with one another. Uh, some people leave out their door and in an argument, and that's the last time you see them. That's the last conversation you ever have with that person. And then it might, bother the person that's still here on this side. So always leave with with good intentions, good for the wells, good see you laters or whatever. The Bible says that don't let the sun go down on your wrath or your anger. You know, um, don't go to bed angry. Because somebody might not wake up. And I don't mean for us to come on to be somber or morbid or it's just a reality. And here at Degree of Separation, we like to we this is a relationship podcast because whether it's a business, it's all about building that relationship with that business person, with that entrepreneur, with that um, leader in the community or what have you. It's all based on relationship. Every single one of our uh, interactions with one another is all based off a relationship. And while we have these relationships, I know they're not always going to be um, straight up agreements, but in our disagreements, we don't have to be uh, disagreeable, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I can disagree with you without being disagreeable, without being unlikable, without tarnishing the relationship, without speaking something that you can't get back. Because one thing about words is once you release them, they're released. You can say sorry. You can apologize. You can, like my dad say, beg someone their apology. But that word is released, and you can't take it back. So before we get to that point, think about the person that you're talking to. Thinking about the relationship. Thinking about the memories that you've had. And some people may do it towards you. And if they do that towards you, handle it accordingly. If you have to cut them out of your life, you have to do that. But at least you know that you did not tarnish the relationship. Every relationship is not going to last. Every relationship is not meant to last. But you know, uh, I don't argue with my wife. I don't fight with my wife. We may say, have words or but it's not a knockdown, drag out argument that we have. We don't do that because first of all, we have children, and we don't want to see our children have our children see us in such a way where they feel like they have to choose and pick sides and so on and so forth, and verbal abuse and physical abuse. Nah, you don't need to be with somebody or around anyone that you have to deal with in that manner. You know what I mean? Trust me, save yourself some bond money and your freedom, and get away from people that push you to that point or that take you to that point. You know what I mean? But we have to slow down. And is the argument that you have really worth the relationship? look at this. When you're in an argument with someone and you go both are going back and forth, pleading your case, giving your evidence, and when was the last time in the middle of an argument, the person that was wrong stopped and said, oh, what? You know what? You are absolutely right. I'm wrong. You're right. That doesn't happen because you're not in the place, you're not in the mode, you're not in the mindset to hear anything outside of your argument. That's why when it comes to debating or debating the Bible and the truths thereof, or the stories thereof, or the message thereof, I refuse to get into a debate about it because that's not what's going to draw you. Now if we have a conversation, you can disagree with me about something, and we can have a conversation about it. And my conversation isn't necessarily to uh, win the argument, but my conversation is to have understanding on your viewpoint and have you to understand where I'm coming from. And if we can leave this conversation with understanding, then it can be built upon. You know, the persuasion may be able to be built upon. But if we're coming in debating, man, you trying to prove me wrong and I'm trying to prove you wrong, then where's that going to go? It's not going to be fruitful. It's not going to flourish. It's not going to be impactful on your life or my life. We just gonna walk around heated, clinging to our arguments even greater. I'm all about having a discussion. I'm all about having a dialogue, you know, with whomever I'm talking to. But doing this, and we ought to not just have, this family time, just during this time. Just during this time of year. I know it's popular for us to get together on Thanksgiving and some people who do Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever else is out there. We have to wait on these big grand um, days that someone else has carved out for us to say, hey, let's get together. But you know, family reunions don't go on like they used to when I was a child, when I was coming up. We used to have a family reunion every summer or every spring or every certain time. You know what I mean? But now, only time family gets together for the most part is during a funeral. But we have to take inventory of the life and the memories that we want to have in this life, because as the old saying goes, tomorrow is not promised to you. And tomorrow's not promised to any one of us. We take it for granted because we've gotten up, hundreds of times, thousands of times. If you're 10 years old, that's roughly 3,600 times, 3,800 times that you've gotten up. You know what I mean? So if you're 20 years old, that's about 75, say 7,500 times, 7,500 times that you've gotten up. Because we've gotten up thousands of times, opened our eyes thousands of times before. We take for granted that this may not be, it's not promised that I'm going to open my eyes and breathe again. And sometimes I tell my wife, hey, we only got a certain amount of time with one another. We might as well enjoy one another. She's like, man, don't talk, stop talking like that. Don't talk like that. I say, well, it's the truth. It's the truth. Don't be mad with me to the point that you don't want to talk to me, or that I'm not going to be mad with you to the point that I don't want to talk to you or deal with you for however long or get an attitude, because I know that at some point, one of us is going to have to go before the other. I'm going to leave before my wife, or my wife is going to leave before me. And, I think about my uncle, man. Been married. I'm 36 years old. Been married all my life plus. I don't know how long they've been married, but now his wife is the woman that he's been with for 30, 40, maybe 50 years is no longer there. Is no longer there. You know what I mean? Is he to have somebody by your side for 30, 40 years and then one day they just don't they're not there anymore and they'll never be there ever again. That's a tough position to be in. Real tough position to be in. And it's just a reality. We all have to go that route. So I encourage you, man, to whomever's listening, if you have some type of relationship that has been hindered, that has been broken, that you would like to have back, reach out to them. Swallow your pride, whatever it may be. If you've wronged someone, the Bible says, if your brother offends you, you ought to go to them and tell them of the offense, that you may win your brother back. If someone has offended you, it can be whatever. It's something they said, something they done. You know what I mean? Tell them, man, hey, look, man, that hurt my feelings. I took offense to it. And have a conversation about it. Have a conversation about it. If you offended someone else, and like sometimes we offend people, but we don't know we offend them. People you can mean and you can mean no harm, no foul, but they may take it in offense to it. So, if you've heard that you've offended someone, if you've intentionally offended someone, go to them, man. Apologize. Because it's not worth the not having that relationship if you really care about that person. I remember years and years and years and years ago, God sent me on an apology tour. Man, I was calling people. I was going to my manager at my job, people I work with, and I was just apologizing, man. And it was real powerful. It was real powerful, man. But, I might need to go on another apology tour to tell the truth. You know what I mean? Not that I go around offending people purposely, but maybe someone is taking offense and don't feel like they can approach me, And so if anybody's listening to this, if I've offended you, let me know. Because that's not my intentions. It's not my intentions. Life is too short to be arguing with someone. Life is too short not to get along with the people in your household. Life is too short not to get along with your family members. Again, if they're abusing you and they're just habitual abusers, or like Dave Chappelle say, habitual line, or Charlie Murphy, habitual line stuffers, then handle it accordingly. But if you if you have a relationship with somebody and you feel like they have your best intentions in their heart for you, then mend that relationship, man. Mend that relationship and just love one another. Because, man, I'm telling you, these past few years, man, people been leaving here left and right. Young, old, you know what I mean? Sick, healthy. People leaving here. Like the old sayings, again, there's a lot of old sayings in today's episode. People dying that never died before. And that's the truth of the matter, man. People are dying that never died before. And we never know who's it going to be next. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't walk around like on eggshells like, oh man, who's going to die next? But, we should take advantage of the time that we have, because one thing about it, that time will never come back to you. Those moments will never come back to you. So, I just want to encourage you. This isn't a long drawn out, message or episode, but, I do want to encourage you to just love, man, and allow love to be given. You know what I mean? Some people don't know how to be loved. Some people don't know how to love. Some people don't know how to be loved. Some people have never received love. Some people have never received love and don't know what it feels like. And then when they get it, they reject it because it's not what they're comfortable with. Ask somebody, how do you need me to love you? You know, a good book, a good concept to read and to study is the love languages, the four love language, I believe. Love languages, yeah. So look, type in love languages, and you'll see it. It's a book written, and it's a philosophy. It's a, you know, so ask people, how do you need me to love you? How do you want me to love you? They may not know, be able to articulate it, but sit down with them and figure that thing out. Figure out how your wife needs you to love her. Figure out how your husband needs you to love her. Figure out how your children, whomever it is that you're dealing with, whoever it is that you're in a relationship with, figure out how it is that they need to be loved. You know, so it's an action word. So make sure, you know what I mean, you do the actions. So, you know, with that being said, it's good to be back on Degree Separation. You know, hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have a good remainder of this year. Looking forward to 2023. We got about a month left. You know, but you know, blessings of the Most High be upon you. You know, you can find us at Degrees of Separation on everything. DEGREEZ. Degrees of Separation on Facebook and Instagram. Degrees of Separation on YouTube. All one word on YouTube. So, you know, make sure you hit us up. You know, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, that's going to tell another friend. Let's run this thing up, man. Let's build this community, man. You know, if you want to help us out with some donations, man, Cash App, $ INTELLECT, and number one, Intellect One, uh, on Cash App. You know, we here to get connected and stay connected, man. If uh, you may be 1 or 2 degrees separated from each other, but when it comes to God, there should be 0 degrees of separation, and we out.
Degrees of separation, connecting to the sun.